44. How does the interaction between the narrator and the professor in paragraphs 26 to 28 contribute to the development of the theme? Okay, so this is similar. Contribute to the development of the theme, the excerpt, the story. This is a paragraph question, but it's really also a function question. Not only what is the idea of the paragraph, but what is it transitioning to? Very similar to our overall structure prompt. Okay. So I want to go up to paragraph 26. I want to see what the idea is and kind of what the transition is at that point of the ideas. So the ideas from 26 to 8, we first learn that the professor does think they might exist, that they're not extinct. The narrator thinks the man is going mad or crazy. And he believes the professor knows that he thinks he's going crazy. Okay, so at that point he draws up a chair by his desk. There is nothing to do but obey, and this fool's errands was none of my conceiving. Okay, so the professor's clearly his boss. And now we come into 26 and 28. Together we made out a list of articles for me and itemized expenses that might occur, and I set a date for my return, allowing no margin for a successful termination to the expedition. So this sounds like the narrator is kind of going through the motions. He just doesn't believe it. Never mind that, said the professor. What I want you to do is get those birds here safely now. So the professor's kind of calling him out on it. He's like, I really want you to go and get these birds. How many men are you going to take? None, I replied bluntly. It's a useless expense unless there is something to bring back. If there is, I'll wire you, and you may be sure. Very well, said the professor good-humoredly. So what's going on here? The narrator still doesn't believe in this expedition to find the great auk. The professor clearly says, you're going to go find them. And the narrator says, well, I don't really need anybody else, but if there's something there, I'll bring it back. So, okay, what idea? And then we kind of have the old gentleman was prompt, so I said, picking my hat and started. At this point, the narrator kind of knows he's got to go find the ox. He's got to make the trip, okay, as we see in the next few paragraphs or lines. Okay, let's see if an idea of an answer choice picks up this. It illustrates the professor's patience as the narrator argues against making the expedition. No, the narrator is kind of accepting that he has to make the expedition. He doesn't think it's going to be successful, but the narrator does not argue against it. So E is incorrect. F, it reveals the narrator's frustration. He is perhaps frustrated. His limited role in making decisions for the Zoological Society. Wait a second, the last part's not right. Nothing here suggests the narrator has a limited role in making decisions for the zoo. The professor seems to be his boss and kind of tells him what he has to do, but that's very different than saying this guy has a limited role in general for decisions. These aren't decisions plural, not the decision to go see the great auk. He's going to have to do that. But that doesn't indicate his role at the zoo is limited for other decisions. F is not correct. That could be an appealing answer for many students, but again, put on your critical thinking hat. G, it emphasizes the professor's desire to acquire new specimens for the zoo at any cost. Okay, so I'm a little hesitant there. At any cost is extreme. At any cost? I don't think it said at any cost. Let's just go back up and check. Well, after this line, it says, you shall have all the assistance you may require. Can you leave tonight? Well, that doesn't mean any cost, right? It's not quite the same thing, and that's not exactly lines 26 to 28. So I don't think that's what 26 to 28 are saying. The professor does have desire to go get the specimens, assuming there exist, but not at any cost. I don't think this is correct. Let's check H. It shows the narrator's acceptance of his assignment despite his personal objections. Okay, the narrator does object. He doesn't think it's a worthwhile exercise. And yes, the transition here after 26 to 28 is that he accepts it. He knows he has to go. This looks correct. H is a better answer than G, which is not quite correct. It was too extreme. The correct answer for 44 is H.